Hey, welcome back to Clues by Sam. 25th of September, we have a tricky one today. If you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a puzzle where you have 20 people. Some of them are innocent, some of them are criminals, and they give you clues, and you need to do no guessing, but use those clues to figure out who is what. Now let's get started for today. First of all, we have Zed. Zed telling us that the builder between two other builders is a criminal. Ooh. Very accusational. Okay, we have Paul in between two other builders. So we know that he is a criminal. Now, Paul is telling us that only one of the three innocents in column B is Carol's neighbor. Carol is here. And she has two neighbors in column B. And one of them is innocent. So one of them is here, the other one is here, but we know that column B has 3 innocents total, so we need 2 more. It can be Paul because Paul is already a criminal, so there's only 2 people left, Janet and Wanda, and then they both are innocents. Now, Wanda is telling us that Anna has more innocent than criminal neighbors. And we already know that she has 1 innocent and 1 criminal neighbor because of Bruce and Fabio. So Elena has to be a innocent in order for the innocents to be in more number than criminals. And we don't need this clue anymore. Now Janet's telling us that exactly 1 painter has an innocent directly to the right of them. Painter. Anna is a painter. Do we have any other painters? They should be highlighted by the clue. They seem to not be highlighted. So, Wanda is a painter too. So we have both Anna and Wanda painters. And exactly 1 painter has an innocent to the right of them. So either Bruce or Zaya are innocent, but we don't know that yet. And Lena is telling us that exactly 2 of the 4 innocents neighboring me are in row 3. Well, Elena only has 2 neighbors in row 3, so both of them have to be innocents. And another one is among Bruce and Fabio. There's 1 innocent and 1 criminal here, so in order for Elena's neighbors to total 4 innocents, Anna has to be an innocent too. And we don't need her clue anymore. Now Anna's telling us that Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. Interesting. Isaac's telling us that Gino is one of 3 innocents in row 2. Gino is one of 3 innocents in row 2. So we know that he is an innocent. And if Fabio is an innocent, then Helen is a criminal because there's only 3 innocents in row 2. So we don't need... Oh, we do need this clue. And we still don't know about the painter thing. Now, going back to Anna's clue, she's saying that Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. Carol may have 1 criminal neighbor here. Interesting. Because we don't know about Wanda's neighbors yet. Oh. We know that Carol has at least 2 innocent neighbors in column 2, in row 2. Because there's 1 more innocent in row 2 besides Gino. And it has to be either Fabio or Helen. So Carol has at least 2 innocent neighbors and one, at least 3. No, we don't know. Maybe Fabio is a criminal. But either way, we're gonna have 2 innocents here and the criminal here. So we have 2 innocents and 3 innocents and 1 criminal neighboring Carol. And now Wanda. Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. Wanda has 1 criminal neighbor. So Carol has 1 criminal neighbor already. But she has to have 1 more. Because Wanda has 1 criminal neighbor, 2. So if Wanda has no more criminal neighbors, Carol still has to have 1 more, which will be Diane. If Wanda has any more criminal neighbors, then it's impossible for Carol to have more criminal neighbors than her. Like, think with me. Carol has 1 criminal neighbor here. Let's say that it is... Oh, I was getting that wrong. Carol has 1 criminal neighbor here and 1 innocent neighbor here. Or was I getting that wrong? I don't think I was. If Fabio is a criminal, then Ellen is an innocent. Because there's 3 innocents total in row 2. And if Fabio is a criminal, Bruce is an innocent. Because there's 3 innocents in column B as well. Now Carol has only 1 innocent, only 1 criminal neighbor. But Wanda already has a criminal neighbor, so Diane has to be a criminal. And all of Wanda's remaining neighbors have to be innocent. Because 2 is no more than 2. 2 is only more than 1 and 0. And negative numbers that we don't have in this game. And it goes either way. If Fabio is an innocent and Bruce is a criminal, Ellen will be a criminal too. Now this works in favor of Wanda having 1 more criminal neighbor. Because it doesn't matter if Diane is an innocent here or a criminal. Because if Fabio is innocent, then Helen has to be a criminal and Bruce has to be a criminal, and now Carol has 2 criminal neighbors besides Diane. That's interesting. So we depend on Fabio's role to figure out if Diane is a criminal or not. So what else do we have? Exactly 1 painter has an innocent directly to the right of them. That's what's gonna help us with the other clue, because if Fabio is a criminal and Bruce is an innocent and Helen is an innocent as well, then Diane has to be a criminal, right? But the thing is, if both Fabio and Diane are criminals, all of Wanda's remaining neighbors have to be innocent. And in that case, Zaya would have to be innocent. But Zaya is to the right of a painter, as is Bruce. And we can't have two painters with a innocent to the right of them. So this situation doesn't happen. So Fabio is an innocent and Bruce is a criminal. And Zaya, and we don't know about Zaya. I mean, Zaya has to be an innocent. Right? And we don't know about Diane. But we know about Helen. So Fabio is an innocent, Bruce is a criminal, Zaya is an innocent. And let's get the next clues. Oh, also we have 3 innocents in row 2, so we know that Helen is a criminal. And we don't need this clue anymore. But we have no clues. Bruce is telling us that only one of the 4 innocents neighboring Gino is in between Diane and Zed. Gino is here and is telling us that there are 4 innocents neighboring him. We know about 2 of them, Fabio and Janet. And one of them is in between Diane and Zed. So it has to be Larry, because it can be Helen, since Helen is already a criminal. And we have one more innocent to find out. The other clue that we got, we didn't have any other. Oh, we have Helen's, telling us that Thor and Diane have an equal number of innocent neighbors. Where's Thor? Thor is here and he has already 1 innocent neighbor and 1 criminal one, which is the same as Diane. Okay. So Marco is the same as Carol. Has the same role as Carol. I do need this. Larry by himself is telling us that there are as many criminal builders as there are criminal farmers. We have 1 farmer here, another one here, and 2 builders here. But we have 1 builder who is a criminal. So there are as many criminal builders as there are criminal farmers, means that has to be at least 1 criminal farmer for now. And that is Helen. We don't need this clue anymore. We don't need this clue anymore. Exactly 1 painter has an innocent. Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. While Thor and Diane have an equal number of innocent neighbors. So Wanda has 1 criminal neighbor and Carol has 2 for now, which suits the clue. For now, Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. Now Thor and Diane have an equal number of innocent neighbors, which currently is 1. If it were to be 2, if Marco were to be a criminal, then now Wanda has 2 criminal neighbors and Carol has to have 3, so Diane has to be a criminal. And since there's 2 builder criminals. And there are as many criminal builders as there are criminal farmers, and both farmers have to be criminal. Which there are only... Oh, there's Carol as well. There's Carol as well. So Carol could be a criminal farmer. And then Thor and Diane would have an equal number of innocent neighbors, which is 1. That could be. And then both Ronald and Karen will have to be innocent. Now, if Marco were to be an innocent, and if Marco were to be an innocent, then Diane would have to have 2 innocent neighbors. So Carol will have to be an innocent as well. But now Wanda still has to have... Do you know the total of innocent neighbors that Wanda has? No, we don't. But we know that Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda. Which for now, it's okay. Carol has 2 criminal neighbors, Wanda has 1. If Diane were to be innocent too, the remaining neighbors of Wanda's would have to be innocent too. Which is fine. But since there are as many criminal builders as there are criminal farmers, Karen would have to be innocent too. But we can't forget about Gino's clue. Or the clue about Gino. Bruce tells us that only one of the 4 innocents neighboring Gino is in between Diane and Zed. So Gino, in this scenario, has way more innocent neighbors than he should. There's only 1 innocent to find out in here. So let's clear everything and keep this clue in mind. And go back to that. Laura and Diane have an equal number of innocent neighbors. If there were to be 2 innocent neighbors, Marco will be an innocent. Carol will have to be an innocent as well. But now, Gino already has his 4 innocent neighbors, so both Karen and Diane will have to be criminal. And since Karen is a criminal and she's a farmer, there's 2 criminal farmers, so another builder has to be a criminal as well, which would have to be Ronald. And that works because Carol has more criminal neighbors than Wanda if Thor is an innocent. So Marco can be an innocent. That's plausible scenario. Let's clear it out and try with Marco being a criminal. If Marco is a criminal, now Thor has only one innocent neighbor. Diane can only have one innocent neighbor. Now Carol has to be... Oh, I can change the clues. Oh my god, I can do different types of clues. That is fantastic. That makes me unreasonably happy. What was I saying? Now Carol has to be a criminal because Diane has to have two criminal neighbors as the star. But Carol still has to have more criminal neighbors than Wanda, which is now two, so Diane has to be a criminal. And Gino needs another innocent neighbor, which has to be Karen. Karen, innocent. Karen being an innocent tells us that a builder has to be an innocent. Because we have two criminal farmers, one innocent farmer, two criminal builders. Ronald has to be an innocent as well, which is fine. The scenario is plausible if Thor is an innocent. Are we looking at Thor being always an innocent? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We did all the scenarios with Marco. And I guess we did all the scenarios with Carol. Was Thor innocent in both scenarios? I don't remember. Let's do the other one. Or rather, let's try to make Thor a criminal. If Thor were to be a criminal, Wanda would have two criminal neighbors already, so Diane would have to be a criminal, which is okay. But now, none of the other neighbors that Wanda has could be criminals, because that would break Carol's rule. So that would have Marco and Ronald be innocent, and the remaining farmers would have to be innocent as well, because there are as many criminal builders as there are criminal farmers, and there's 3 of each. So these two would be innocent, and that would break Gino's clue. He would have one more innocent neighbor than he must. So Thor has to be an innocent. Great logic. Nice. Let's clear the text now and let's look at Thor's clue. He's telling us there's an odd number of criminals in row 4. Ooh. Interesting. That doesn't help me much. Does it? We're gonna have to rule out someone else. Based on Diane and Thor's clue, I think. Can we do that? If Carol is an innocent, Marco has to be an innocent. Now Karen has to be a criminal. because Gino already has 4 innocent neighbors. And Ronald has to be a criminal as well to match farmers and builders. Now Diane has to be a criminal because Carol has to have 3 criminal neighbors. So that's fine. What we know is that we can't have both Marco and Ronald be criminals. Or can we? Because if both of them are criminals, there's no way for Carol to have more criminal neighbors. So we can't have that. Can both of them be innocent? Nope. Because if both of them are innocent, both farmers have to be innocent, and that breaks Gino's rule. So we have a either one situation here. One criminal, one innocent. But in order for Thor to be Thor's clue to be right, there's an odd number of criminals in row 4. We have to have 3 criminals. So Sue has to be a criminal. Don't need this clue anymore. But Sue is telling us that Helen and Zed have an equal number of criminal neighbors. Oh. Wow. Lots of criminal matching, neighbor matching. Zed has 1 criminal, 1 innocent neighbor already. And Helen and Zed have an equal number of criminal neighbors. Wow. Zed can only have 2 criminal neighbors at most. And Helen has 3 more people. Zed could have 2 criminal neighbors. That could be right. Marco would be an innocent in this situation. And now, since Thor and Diane have the same number of innocent neighbors, Carol would have to be innocent. And now Diane has to be criminal. Diane's criminal in all situations, I think so. Because we surely have 1 criminal here. So Carol has to have 1 more criminal neighbor. So Diane has to be criminal. Sorry about that. Should have seen that before. So we know that Helen has 1 criminal neighbor here and Zed has 1 criminal neighbor here. And since Gino has 4 innocent neighbors, either Carol or Karen are gonna be a criminal. So Helen's gonna have 2 criminal neighbors either way, because Diane is 1 and there's gonna be another one here. So Zed has to have 2 criminal neighbors as well, and thus Ronald has to be a criminal and Marco has to be an innocent. Since Marco is an innocent, Carol has to be an innocent, and Karen is our final criminal. Good. I like this puzzle. It took me a while, but the thing I liked the most was that we can color our tags that I didn't know, and I like that I found that out by myself. But that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe because I'll be back tomorrow with more Clues by Sam, but also I'll be streaming tonight Silk Song as I do every Friday night. See you then.